I don't know the idea of an actor being so overexposed. I'm not sure, but to each his own. I can only talk for myself, and I can only hope that the casting is not compromised anywhere or done basis this. That's it. Some producers and directors and writers especially have been really kind to me to cast me sometimes in those films which I'm sure would have not been your conventional casting, or what we call anti-casting. It'll come on satellite, it'll come on OTT, maybe then, especially students or kids in that age group, especially 12 plus, they can watch it, which was actually certification given by UAE, and which we thought was very appropriate, because it's very hard to categorize below 18.
Hi, this is Samina Sheikh here on Zoom channel. With me today, I have an actress I have known since Ye Pyar Na Hoga Kam, and now, oh my God, she's surprising everyone with her amazing performance in Oh My God 2. Welcoming Yami Gautam on Zoom channel.
Thank you, Samina. Thank you so much.
Lovely to have you.
Same here.
Love the pink color.
Yeah.
The Barbie is working
I'm
on
not.
you.
No, I'm not taking that trend forward. Nothing wrong in it, but that was not the intention.
Yes.
It just so happens. Yeah.
So you're hashtag not your Barbie. But lovely, I must say that the way your career graph is working, to be honest. I had seen Thursday along with my mother, and I watched that movie twice because we really liked it. Even the kind of roles you're doing now, it's very different. It's not the same cliche roles, and you're building your own career path, without any as such support in the industry. You're not a part of any clan, you're not a part of any, as such, like, into lobbying and all like that. But you have built yourself. So if you have to say about your journey, what do you have to say on that?
That is still on, what do you say, onwards and upwards. I think that's how I say. Although there, of course, some producers and directors and writers especially have been really kind to me to cast me sometimes in those films which I'm sure would have not been your conventional casting, or what we call anti-casting. I'm referring to films like Uri and Bala, which was just pre-pandemic, especially Bala, and that's the beauty of it, right? We usually see the person on the surface and just make a judgment that so and so looks in a certain way or talks in a certain way, so this is what probably he or she can do. But that is just me, but what potential I hold could be completely something. That's my job as an actor, to convince you. Either I convince you or I don't. So I'm happy that everything that has gone into it's rewarded by the audience. It's rewarded with even better work, and I hope that this journey just goes on.
Over the years, what has changed in you as a person after making an aspiration in the acting industry?
As a person, of course, your perspective evolves. It has to, it must. Probably what was good for me or not good for me 5 years back, when I stand today, you realize that you have come a long way, not just in the kind of, if I'm doing certain kind of films, if I'm choosing certain kind of scripts, that's because I'm evolving as a person, right? But one of the most important things I'd rather have to reinstate in myself was to be fearless with my choices, to not overthink or overanalyze, and not to be fearful. Because with that thought process, I started my career with a film like Wiki Donor, not saying just as a subject, but also the kind of person I know I am, and to be in an industry where you're always up and about, you always have to be up there, you always are expected to be in front of the camera and interact with people and everything. So knowing that, I think, but there was always one thing about me which I remember way back, that I was just concerned with my work. I have a little clinical way of working where of course you want that warmth in the environment that you're working in, and being nice to one another. But I'm someone who, for me, the best part about working, I realize, is when there's good work happening. It's not about who played pranks and who did what. It's about how is the work coming. So I think this perspective and this understanding of what I want to do, I think that has really evolved and helped me be this person that I am today.
Recently, you also reacted on being called an underutilized actress. Do you also feel, but eventually the work speaks more than anything else, you know, glamour is one part of it. But right now, when I recognize your work, I remember every role of yours. I would, you know, be it like in Uri, be it even for that matter, even in Bala or even Vicky Donor. Like, I see that phase of yours, and when it comes to Oh My God 2, where you're playing such a grey shade character, which is also good in its own way and has its own different characters. So when you see yourself in terms of your growth, and do you somewhere feel it's not underutilized, or what are your thoughts on that?
No, no, that was not a reaction. That was just an observation basis my experience in the industry. And it was, the person was just trying to compliment, and I take it as a compliment, which I wrote also. And that's a very hard fact, and I believe that's a question that we need to ask ourselves if we want to, and producers or people or directors who do their casting, I think that it is for them. That I just hope that the casting is done on merit, and I know every generation gets its own new trend or brings some change, and I just hope that we are changing for the good, because the only thing we're going to be known for is our work. I mean, if you ask me right now, can you name some actresses from yesteryears, or whose work has inspired you? I can name so many. So I just hope when we sit, or if you still choose to be a part of this profession 40 years later also in case, and you're sitting with somebody else in my place, I hope our names go down their memory strongly in a good way. And that's only possible through good work, nothing else, nothing else. So I just hope that, I was just talking about casting, that and as actors I feel it's always nicer, that's my belief, that's very personal thought, it's nice to have a little mystery, it's nice to, yes, have a part of yourself out there which is for you to share. And I'm someone who's very spontaneous with what I feel. I don't plan such things. If I want to put out something on social media, that's because I felt like in that moment. I'm not someone that, oh, I have to do this, or so or if I want to say something, it's very in that moment. I don't plan these things, and because I say it from my heart, or otherwise I don't say. So so I just hope, more than, it's not about me, it's not about one person, it's about overall where we are heading in terms of the kind of films that we want to. And we've seen with some, how if you go by the trend, especially post pandemic, it's only, however you may like a film or you may not like the film, but there must be something about those films which the audience felt, oh, this is different, either in visual, like in Avatar, or like a Kantara, I think, which was a very different concept for everyone, coming from literally heartland of a country. So people want to hear stories, people want to see good work. That's about it.
Coming to your own role, you're playing a lawyer. You have done, like, you wanted to be a law student, you wanted to be an IAS officer, and now finally you're playing a lawyer in Oh My God 2. Pankaj Tripathi and Yami Gautam, these are the two names I hear the most after Akshay Kumar for this movie. How does that make you feel? Because, the way you're debating, the courtroom drama is the much spoken, kind of scenes everywhere.
I'm glad I did my homework right, is what goes in my head, because I do that, and which is my job. And when you work with good actors, obviously, one is everyone has their own process, and I like to go by the book. I'm a little old school that way. I like to have that hard copy and mark and make my points, and once you understand the character, read the script again and again and again, and every time you'll read it, every time something new you'll observe. Write it. You can almost start thinking like that character and talking like that character. So that is where your imagination comes into play. Of course, roles of a role of lawyer has been portrayed a gazillion times before, be it in Hindi films or in English films. But I mean, you're all journalists. You're sitting here. Someone else is sitting here. But you all are different, right? So it's the same way. There could be different ways of portraying, someone from the same profession. And that's the challenge bit, that's a good part, and nothing like it when your choices are in sync with the audience. And the combination of trade, your film doing well and respect, when they go hand in hand, I think that's wonderful. That feels good.
The movie also talks about sex education, but at the same time, a certain audience who has been there in the movie are not allowed to watch this movie. Censor Board plays a very strong role in this movie with the cuts and all. What do you want to say on that?
I mean, what's done is done now. Can't really say anything about it. As I said, it's a film that belongs to the audience now, and they are feeling, what they feel is it has the most lasting impact, and which was the whole purpose of the film, for a certain audience. Now we just hoping that they'll go back home and they'll talk about it with their, either their kids, their teenage kids, or their relatives, that this is what was there in the film. But of course, it'll come on satellite, it'll come on OTT. Maybe then, especially students or kids in that age group, especially 12 plus, they can watch it, which was actually certification given by UAE. And which we thought was very appropriate, because it's very hard to categorize below 18, right? So we thought 12 plus. So, and this is what I heard, and one of your colleagues only enlightened us that there might be a revision in certification, there might be more categories, so that might just help us.
I'm hoping so too, because I feel such kind of topics should come out, and India needs to accept certain changes, and there are films which have been made in such manner. Yami, you recently said that, you work with actors who don't have a pretense or double face. For that matter, if you had to recollect one of the actors who's been very genuine to you in your journey of your career, who's been that?
No, that's not a choice that is
but when you say that, someone you admire, you look up to, or sometimes you want to go and see that XYZ person's work, for that matter.
I think I've had the fortune of working with many such good actors. Of course, Pankaj has been a great co-actor. Pawan sir, I think another actor from the film who needs to be lauded for his performance as the judge, which people are loving him. Pankaj Kapur, I think, has to be that one name, because what a phenomenal actor, and you see the diversity that he has in his work. And when we worked on Lost, and I told him, and he said, he just laughed, and he said, we didn't know that be it Jaane Bhi Do Yaro or so many of those films, are going to go down history this way. We were just there as young, as a young team, just trying to get casting right for the director, and just have fun. That's it. There wasn't any that kind of money that actors obviously are paid today. And he said, even back then, he said something very interesting, which is actually very true, that back in the day, I was one of those actors who used to always work with the script, which was not a very popular thing back then, especially when you're still beginning, starting your career. He was already established, I think, with Karam Chand and all those shows. But he said, I would always work with script. And he said, I'm thankful that I was part of television when it was, I think, at its peak in terms of content. And now you have so much work. Now I don't think anyone will have dearth of work. Somebody will have work or the other. We used to, we used to hardly have any money, and we would actually look for work and roles, and still, despite all of that, you still want to only work where okay, you can read a script, you can, you are convinced about what you're going to do, versus just for money. And he said, even in films like Gandhi, where he said, you might not even remember me, I was there, but I was ready to put everything else on the line, because for continuity's sake, that's it. So I'm like, that's passion. And I saw him working, how he works, and it was nice to come face to face and work with someone who comes with that kind of thinking, and kind of reinstates again your faith in the fact that it's your script first more than anything.
You recently said that
I said a lot of things. I think it seems like
you said that basically actors rely on the marketing a lot as compared to content. What makes you feel this way?
I think you should be in a better space to answer that, since you come from media.
And I feel that. I have fought, I have had my own battles on that thing, to be honest. I feel that same thing.
I think it's a cycle. it's kind of a cycle that I don't know if anyone else is feeling like that. Maybe that's only possible for you to know if you happen to ask someone. How is it just me who's thinking? But because of and I'm not saying in a condescending way the new age as a pap culture or you're captured. That's okay. As I said, every decade or generation will bring some change with itself. But we have to make sure that it's only making our work better and not. I don't know, the idea of an actor being so overexposed. I'm not sure. But to each his own. I can only talk for myself, and I can only hope that the casting is not compromised anywhere or done basis this. That's it. As long as that is secured, and which is not on the actors, but it's because it's a cycle. Because someone will tell you, no, you have to be seen. Because if you're out of sight, you're out of mind. But then how about your work, right? I may not be there in 10 places. You see me just through my films, and for me it's sufficient. For me it's good, or one or.
And the recall value is more.
Yeah.
Because I see you more for your content than just seeing that, oh, she's there,
Because that's how I want to be seen. I enjoy meeting with people in person. I always tell them, okay, picture baad mein, but when they talk about my work, I like to hear, I like to listen, I like to interact. I'm okay just keeping quiet also. But just for the sanctity of this profession that we're in, because now we have an even bigger responsibility, especially with OTT coming and we being exposed to so much globally. To keep our audience engaged, it's a challenge, and we must put our, I think, best foot forward. That'll only happen, I think, if I believe the casting happens on merit. So that's a question. I don't think really for me it's a question for open to everyone.
And to lighten your mood, we are just going to play a very small segment with you, which is the snakes and ladders. And you can choose which color you want, and I'm going to put this.
I'll go with red.
Red? Yeah. Okay. So whenever the snake bites you, you have to reveal one secret about you.
Oh God.
3 chances, and in the third chance, 3 times that the snakes bite, then I'll declare you a winner, or you have lost the game.
What if we don't reach the snake in those 3 chances?
So you're the winner.
Oh, अच्छा. So ठीक है. 4. Done. अच्छा, ये मैं ही खेलूँगी.
हाँ, आप ही खेलोगे.
Obviously, because only my secrets
3.
you want.
Yes.
7. Now 4. हो गया. And the winner.
No, you're not done. Basically, you have to play, but उसमें से कहाँ पर भी अगर bite करता है, then you go back.
Okay, then. Okay. How many chances are there? Because this can keep going
6.
on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. You go.
Finally one. So you have to reveal one secret
One
about
secret about me. I don't know if it's a secret, but I think I'm a really good cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you love to cook otherwise? What's been your favorite?
Pahadi khana. I think I cook it really well. And sweets. Any kind of mithai. Besan ki barfi, nariyal ki barfi, khoye ki barfi, kheer, chawal ki kheer, semiyon ki kheer, laddu, everything I can make.
Okay.
Halwa, different kinds of halwa, everything.
Okay, last 2 times I'm just letting you play, and then we end this up.
Okay.
So 2 times you have to play. Okay?
2 times. Okay. 2.
Wow.
I go up.
Okay, awesome. 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And
1.
there you go. And I win.
You're almost like on the winning part of it. So you are the winner. I declare you as the winner.
I am the winner.
Though she could play that game, but we don't have much time of hers right now. But maybe some other day we are going to sit down and play snakes and ladders and Ludo with her.
Yeah, I love this game.
It was lovely having you,
Same
and
as
it
me.
was
Thank you so
lovely
much.
chatting with you.